Well, I thought I'd take a moment to say hello. Um, hmm. Yeah, I have a lot of work to do, so this might be just putting off um, getting together like 35 auctions. I sat there for like 2 hours last night writing the addresses down and taking a little slip of paper and putting the name of the card that's supposed to go in this envelope. But today I have to put the cards in the envelope. And I don't know if it's 35 or so. Not everybody paid, but I made some really good money, which I, of course, just threw back into some other cards. So I need to stop doing that. I remember how this goes because it's fun. The speculation part of it is fun, and seeing how the auction goes is fun. The part where you have to deal with customers and you have to, uh, make sure to get everything right and double check all the envelopes, seal up the envelopes, get them to the post office, and pay all the rates and stuff. Not fun. So at some point, um, it's kind of hard to like put a moratorium on yourself and say like, okay, we're just not going to look at anything. But it takes a great deal of discipline to say like, this is an ad that's exploitable, and I'm not going to touch it. Like I bought this ad, I just paid for it this morning out of my profits for $256. Now I don't know how that is going to go breaking up this lot. That's the fun part, You put up one card out of the lot, say you have $256. It goes for $70. You put up another card, it goes for $50. That means you practically knocked the price of the lot in half, and you got all this other stuff to sell. Like there's this guy named DJ Chark, and I don't know if people liked it or whatever, but this stuff that I sold yesterday, I was expecting to make no money off of, did the best. So I put up four cards by this guy named DJ Chark, and I just called him in the title to the ad, Chark the Shark. I don't even know if that's his nickname or not. People seem to like that. I got $50 for four cards I expected to get nothing for. So, yeah, he plays for the Jacksonville Jaguars, you know. And then I like to do like little extra touches, which I won't have time for because the cards got to be shipped out tomorrow. Because I can't do it myself. I have to have aid workers go to the post office for me. So I have to run on their schedule. Now, what I used to like to do is I used to like throw in extras and make the customer happy and take special care. No, it's just going to be like, here's your card, seal up the envelope, throw it in a pile. Here's your cards. Like, like I'm on an assembly line, like I'm a factory worker. Anyways, this other auction, get this. I bought these cards. I can't find the rest of them, but they were 9 cards. I literally paid $1.99 for these 9 cards. Yesterday, I sold four of them for $36. I don't know where the other uh, four cards are. I think the one that I threw in as an extra, I just put it as part of the ad, was part of the original lot, but I'm not sure. But I don't know. But yeah, $1.99, $36. So you're talking about however hundreds of percent profit that is. So it's not like what I do is I make money doing this, and then I just throw the money back in the cards. So all I'm doing is like I'm caught up in like a vicious cycle, and I'm stuck doing something I don't like because I like to buy things and I like to speculate on things. I like to watch the games and watch the guys perform. I mean, I made some, no pun intended, rookie mistakes yesterday because I haven't done this for a long time. So I had like, it was actually a free card, but it's a very valuable card because this guy screwed up his auction and he was like, I'm going to send you 2 out of the 3 cards free because I can't find the third card. So he sent me these 2 cards and one of them is a pretty valuable card. But I didn't mention the fact that it's a rookie card in the title to the ad, so that's a mistake. You can't do that. It's still all free money because the guy sent me the card for free. But that card should have done much better. And then, like, I had three cards of the same guy, right? Don't know why he did this, but I put rookie in the title to one of the cards and not the other two cards, right? The title that had rookie in it had 41 views. The other ones had like 10 or 11. I was like that's like card dealer 101. If you got a rookie card or an RC for short, you put it in the title. So the card where I put it in the title, I sold for $20. The other two I sold respectively for like $7 or $8. It's like, yeah, okay, that was just dumb. And then, but I was planning on doing even more ads because I figured, like, hope springs eternal, and I was right. Hope springs eternal. Games start at 1 o'clock. I'll set all these ads to go off at the same time at 12:30. I'll increase the bidding by raising the shipping, and then encouraging people to bid with combined shipping. But nobody got combined shipping, which is weird. The amount of ads that I had on, but I don't know if it's somewhere in the range of 35. I don't know, but yeah, I don't know what the point. It's just a way to. It's just like it gets to be like a waste of time. It's a hobby, but I mean, what do you really get out of it? It's like I don't know. If you just keep like reinvesting your money over and over again, it's like a vicious cycle. Your money's just all tied up in these cards, and yeah. So I don't know. And then like um, the Browns, of course, performed horribly yesterday, and they looked bad, but they were playing, a powerhouse in the Ravens. But they looked bad. They got a new coach, new system, new players, and they had no preseason to work with, so it's not unexpected. I'm not panicking or anything like that, but I did have a misfortunate thing where I'm like, to cover that $256 purchase, I had to put up Baker Mayfield, the quarterback for the Browns, card after the game was over instead of before. So I was like, I don't know how these cards are going to do. Here, I didn't even need to do that. I mean, the cards killed that went off at 12:30, but this card went off after the game was over. The Browns had a terrible game. And I just broke even at the card on the card at best, but it was a good quality card. It should have sold for $20 or $30 more than what it sold for. So that was kind of a bummer. I was bad enough sitting through that horrible game and watching the Browns get stomped. I think 31-6. I think was the final score. Um, but that's insult to injury. But anyways, yeah, I have to figure that out. How I can. I have to find like the self discipline, like to be like, oh, instead of saying like, oh, this will be fun. Just to keep looking and looking and looking until I hit the sure thing and be like, okay, damn it, sorry. Monday is a day when people call for business reasons. I don't need to answer this, so I'm just gonna let it ring and annoy you. Um, that's just they're reminding me of a tele appointment with my psychiatric nurse. So I got you know let them leave the answering machine message so I know what time to be available for that asshole. Which 5 days late on my benzodiazepine. 5 fucking days late. That's a record. You know, that's a for me. That's a record. The previous record was 2.5 days late, but that doubled it. There's no excuse for that. I'm interested. I'm not gonna like obviously get in his face about it, but I'm interested to hear what he says about that. Like I said, it's a good thing I'm not a newbie because I'd be a newbie in the hospital right now or dead. I don't think I'm taking a high enough dose right now of benzodiazepines to kill me if I went cold turkey, but definitely I'd be in the hospital because I got a heart condition, I got problems, CRPS, and all that. And no, I haven't been exercising. I haven't been doing what I should. My appetite sucks. Um, yeah, it's just too much laying around. Uh, I still have some Neurontin left somehow. My appointment, let's see, today is the 14th. My appointment is coming up on the 22nd, which I might have to make that call today. Yeah, I get it. You left a message. Big fucking deal. Uh, it's on the 22nd. I should probably call them today. I don't like the pressure. Like, I can't go at my leisure with these to get these things mailed. I can't go when I want to go. So I don't like the pressure of like, I have to get these ready by the time they send the aid worker so I can send her, so I can like not make these people mad and keep my 100% feedback. And then I don't even know if the aid worker or if there'll be an aid worker available for me tomorrow. And some of these I sold last week. Now the ones that I sold yesterday, they're okay to go out on Thursday. But that's the thing is like some days they'll call me and they'll be like, "We don't have anybody available for you today," and so you never know when that's going to happen. But yeah, I have to look into that now too. Like, and my stress level hasn't improved. I haven't gotten outside more like I was supposed to. I haven't. I had one day where I walked around the house as specifically as a form of exercise. The rest of the time, I've been screwing around with these damn cards, which you know, actually like doing. Except for, like I said, the part with the selling. I like the buying. I like the watching the games, and I like figuring it out and using my brain. And like I like the funny surprises, like paying $1.99 for cards that you can sell for $36. I mean, if you do that on a large scale, you're talking about making $1,000, man. Just like easy, It's not exactly like digging ditches, and you're making $1,000 if you do that on a consistent basis, like I did with Chark the Shark, and which I paid nothing for those either, and the $1.99 cards, which there's still a few of them floating around that I can make some more money off of. So that part of it's fun, but I can't really afford to do it. I have to concentrate on torturing myself and doing physical activity. And now, like, I got this appointment coming up. There's still time for me to try to just de-stressify myself a little bit. I seem to be a little short of wind this morning. I mean, I don't get any exercise to speak of. I actually cooked the omelet with farm fresh eggs, and it hurt. To stand there and cook, it fucking hurt. It was. I couldn't wait to get done cooking, to uh, lay back in bed and put the plate on my chest and eat my omelet I made. And then I left the cheese out like for a few hours, and yeah, I don't know how many hours, but I got to use that cheese up pretty quick. Um, but yeah, farm fresh eggs, thumbs up. They were very good. And then I got duck eggs, which the person I got them from raises ducks and chickens. So she's like, I cleaned them up all real good so you don't get salmonella. It's like that's always good to bring up food poisoning when you give somebody something that inspires confidence. But duck eggs are just, they're shaped like a little um, more elongated. I've never had duck eggs before. I ate chicken eggs when I was talking about cooking with my leg hurting. I just took everything that she gave me from her garden, like these weird purple peppers and some chives, and chop them up and fry them in butter. But I don't like. I never. I I used to like to cook. I used to like to do a lot of things before I was in pain, like constantly and like on edge constantly. So I especially used to like to cook for other people, but I'd even cook for myself. But I'm standing there like, when's this egg gonna get done so I can get off of my leg? That's where I'm at. Um, it's just constant pain, whether I'm laying down or standing up. It's just worse standing up and laying down. I can distract the pain lessons, and I can distract myself. So I don't know, talking on the internet or scrolling through auctions or watching sporting events or the old or whatever. It's a horrible fucking life, man. It's nasty. Somebody knocked on my door like right before the football games, and I wanted to take a nap, and I don't know who it was, but I was like, whoever it is, they didn't call. And if they didn't call, that's maybe my foster brother, because he's got some big old balls on him. So maybe he's knocking on my door, wanting to reconnect after a year or a year and a half or however long it's been. Or maybe it's my aunt, or maybe it's just somebody from upstairs in the building. Then I heard some loud, angry voices in the building after. It's like, I ain't getting up and walking on my sore goddamn knee to answer the door to get aggravated by somebody. Um, yeah, when I'm like half asleep anyway. I was like my eyes were all like watering and stuff because I haven't been sleeping well. I have a tendency to wake up very early, like sunrise type early, and it doesn't matter when I go to sleep. So, trying to think, like, I probably got 5 hours of sleep, so I'm probably good today to get whatever I need done. I have to check, like I said, on whether I got to make that phone call today to arrange my transportation because you need 5 business days, and next Saturday and Sunday don't count. Um, yeah. It's also like added pressure and annoyance, like um, making the ads, taking the pictures, and you know, it's kind of funny that I did such a shitty job, like with my first real attempt at making money. I did a shitty job, but I still made a lot of money. It's like I don't know what the grand total was, like the gross. I think the gross was like $700 or something like that before the shipping costs and the eBay fees and all that. I didn't even put up that much stuff and that much expensive stuff either. It's just the stuff that I put up did real well. I was like, oh, that was a good idea I had. Hope springs eternal in the heart of a sports fan. So before the season starts and everybody can delude themselves about how good their team is, uh, you can sell them a bunch of shit before they realize, oh my god, this team is the same old piece of crap I watched last year. Which I don't feel that way about the Browns. When I watched the Browns, I was like, okay, this team's raw. It's got issues. It's got too many injuries on defense. But their offense is going to be a powerhouse once they get their shit together. And you can be like, how can you say that? They only scored 6 points. And it's like, yeah, I think they'll figure it out. I think they'll figure it out. They got uh, they got new pieces, new players, but they're playing one of a 14-2 team. They're playing one of the best teams in the league, and they're all new. And you know, the thing that killed me is I never wanted this stupid motherfucker on the team, Odell Beckham Jr. And yes, I invested pretty heavily in his cards. Like, I mean, I don't know, $150 to $200 worth. The dude drops a pass that hits him right in the hands. He's famously known for his hands. It was a turning point of the game. They were like going in for a touchdown. He just drops a pass. They end up trying to have a field goal, and they missed the field goal. And at that point, they were still in the game. It was like the turning point of the game. Is like this guy, ball hits him in the hands. He can he's famous for catching the ball like this, like with literally 2 fingers. like leaning way back like that. He's famous for one hand catches and stuff. He can't make a two hand catch. He dropped another ball in the game too. So yeah, they're going to be all right. They're going to be better than last year. Uh, the quarterback, which I'm heavily invested in, did not look good though. He did not look good at all. Um, which we'll see. You know, it's just the first game, like I said, and it's against a team that they were 14-2 last year, and they upgraded their team. So yeah, sports talk. That's what you tuned in for. Sports radio. I'm sure. Um, yeah, I just felt like saying a few words. Uh, I finally answered the dude's email about pills, and he was like, diazepam is an opiate, and I'm like, you should not be fucking with shit you don't know what it is. I've learned that, you know, so maybe I did some good explaining that, you know, and I explained like difference between dependence and addiction, how they can go together, but how like I'm addicted to cigarettes. I don't have a physical need for cigarettes. Addiction is about behavior, and it's about your mind nagging at you. Like, yeah, well, like when I got the farm fresh eggs, I got a cigarette too. And it's not like I needed that cigarette physically. Now, I haven't taken any diazepam or Valium this morning, but I will have to at some point today because I will feel it. You know, I feel. I'll be like putting cards in there, and my hands will start going. That's physical dependence. It's like eating to me is physical dependence. It's like if I had a choice, I wouldn't eat. Period. Ever. Yeah, eating to me is physical dependence. Um, because I have symptoms like I don't know, bellyache, lightheadedness, sometimes an occasional headache from not eating, and I have to assuage or appease those symptoms uh, of withdrawal from food by eating. It's to me, it's the same as like it's a physical dependence, like with the benzodiazepines. I start to feel sick if I don't eat. I start to feel sick if I don't take benzodiazepines. I don't want to do either. I don't have it. Especially now with my teeth all screwed up, eating's not fun. I mean, I was eating potato chips watching the game yesterday. I'm like, it hurts my mouth to eat potato chips, but I love potato chips. And I can't eat popcorn anymore. I don't think. I haven't tried it, but I used to like microwave popcorn too. Fascinating stuff. This is the riveting kind of stuff that you tune in for. Is my preference in snack foods. Um, yeah, I'm not in a particularly good mood. Not just because of the work that I got to do, but I just feel I don't feel good. I have to eat, which also is time consuming. And I have to cook. I have to cook more of those eggs because I guess I asked her about farm fresh eggs, and she said she looked it up on the internet, and you're only supposed to keep them in the refrigerator for 5 weeks. And since I don't cook, I've had these eggs a while, so but I make like 5 egg omelets. I make big, huge omelets, so I make like 5 egg omelets, and you know, so I'll use them up pretty quick. The duck eggs are fresh, though, um, so I don't have to mess with the duck eggs for a while. Um, the cake that my supposedly my sister cooks for me, didn't even ask what went on behind the scenes there. But the supposedly the cake that my sister cooks for me, I just put it in the freezer. Then I piled up the frozen dinners from Global Meals. You know, the free food that gets delivered every Friday. I just pile them up there on top of the cake that I'm never going to eat. Um, that was weird. last Friday is like they're never late, so they're late, you know. And I'm actually trying to rub one out, and I'm like man, it started nagging at me, and like man, I gotta call these people. I gotta stop doing this, and I gotta call these people because I don't know if you remember the scene in American Beauty where Kevin Spacey is whacking off in the shower, and he's like, "Now for the highlight of my day," or like, or "This is the highlight of my day," he says, or something like that. It's like, yeah, that's one of the few times where I'm not just sitting there experiencing pain. My mind is occupied on something else. After you're done, you feel you're in a much better mood. Yeah, orgasms are good for that. They improve your mood, and they're a good natural painkiller. So, yeah, I'm on the masturbation train, man. I truly believe that that's actually a healthy behavior, a natural and healthy behavior. And yeah, I mean, it makes you feel better. It relaxes you. It puts you in a better mood. And for me, it acts as a painkiller. Yeah, the only negative is the time wasting factor. And it's like, yeah, I can't do anything anyway. So yeah, there's really no time wasting factor even. It's not like, oh, I was going to sit down and work on my magnum opus, and I was going to write a novel today, or I was going to compose a brilliant piece of music on guitar. It's like, I don't do that shit no more. Can't do that shit no more. Too much pain, too much benzo fatigue and withdrawal symptoms. I don't have the patience for much anything. I don't have the patience for people. I don't have the patience to answer the door and deal with whoever the fuck was knocking on my door yesterday. It's like whoever this is, they didn't call first. Fuck them. I said it's just gonna irritate me and it's gonna be ugly. Whoever it is, it's not gonna end well for them or me. It could be somebody from them trying to put in the past, or it could be somebody from this building bothering me over something stupid. It could be a. I'm not gonna say what I was gonna say, but it could be a Jehovah Witness. You know that, and all I'm gonna do is get up, wince, walk across the floor, and slam the door in their face. Um, or Mormons, though usually I haven't been bothered by Jehovah Witnesses or Mormons for years. But yeah, occasionally they left me a flashlight once. That's the flashlight I was talking about. But occasionally a local church or someone, not like the Witnesses or the Mormons, but just like a local church will leave a little flyer or something, or a little thing on my door. And at one time they left me a flashlight, and I'm like, score. They usually just leave me a piece of paper I throw in the garbage. I'm like, this is a cool little flashlight. It come in handy during the last blackout. I had to black tape the batteries in, but yeah, yeah. This life's not it is no party. It's just like once that knee thing happened, it just got worse and worse and worse, and I was able to do less and less and less. And it's like you got the benzo edginess, that's one thing, but then you got the CRPS pain and the neuropathy, and you got the Baker cyst knee on top of it. It's like it's too much. You don't want to do anything. You don't want to stand there and cook an omelet. You don't want to pet your cat. You don't want to do nothing. And yeah, it's like I said, as far as whacking off, at least when I'm doing that, I'm not thinking about pain. I'm not thinking about much of anything. And I'm actually still in pain while that process is going on. It's just more in the background. So I'm still, at least I'm still capable of some form of pleasure out of life, even if it's the lamest of the lamest variety. I still have my small satisfactions here and there, as far as like I enjoy, um, obviously talking, using my mind, what's left of it, and actually enjoy helping people. And I enjoyed disabusing that guy of his notion that diazepam was an opioid. And then there's a difference also between opiates that are like from the poppy and opioids, which have the form of opiates. That's what oid is form. You know, like spheroid. You can just put oid on anything. That is oid is just like a Greek base meaning form. And you know, um, and my stomach is not happy. So you got your opiates that are natural and come from the poppy, and you got your opioids, which are synthetic, cooked up in a lab, like benzodiazepines, and just have they're like an imitation of the real deal. How they came up with benzodiazepines or what the I haven't watched a documentary called The History of Benzodiazepines. I just know they're synthetic medication, and they're not natural. And people always use that argument, well, it's a naturally occurring substance. Like, well, so is arsenic, and yeah, so is what's that thing that the guy in the Lilies of the Valley, ricin from beans from Breaking Bad. If you watch that show, so are all kinds of things natural that will kill you. A grizzly bear is natural. Don't take two in the morning. Yeah, don't take two and call a doctor in the morning because you ain't gonna survive. Which, by the way, I'm gonna post a video on or a link on this video that will probably give you a smile. But man, Australians gotta have the biggest balls in the world. I mean, they just have to. I mean, I saw a lady like messing with a spider that would make me run away, screaming, and she's like, "Look what I found in my garden," and she's like this far away from it, like poking it with a paper, and it's called a mouse spider, and it's like one of the most evil looking things. Like, and to her, it was like everyday visit, everyday business. Yeah, today's gonna be fun. Um, and it's like that's the most evil looking spider I've ever seen in my life, and it is like deadly poisonous. And she's just like, they got so many poisonous creatures in Australia. It's like if you come across one, you don't freak out. You kind of poke it with a piece of paper and say, "Look what I found." Hey, or I've seen guys, Australian guys on YouTube, like just dig up a funnel web spider and put it in a jar. He's like, and be like, "Ah, these are worth money." Like, I wish I could do accents. I'm not even gonna try. Uh, Yeah, I'm not even gonna fake it and throw in a bunch of g'day mates and shit. But you can take these spiders and take them to some sort of biology place where they milk the venom. I think you get anti venom or anti venom compound from the venom of certain creatures. But anyways, the point is like these crazy Australian people are so used to danger. It's like the stuff that would send an American like shrieking and running. They're like, "Hey man, check this out." Or this guy like had a funnel web spider, one of the deadliest spiders in the world, and the most aggressive of the deadly spiders is the funnel web spider. But it was on his shoulder, and he had roaches. He said, and he just like flicked it off his shoulder. So what's he do? Well, he goes over and picks the spider up and puts it in a jar and shows it on the internet, tells the story, and say, "I think I broke one of its legs. You can see where one of its legs is broken after I brushed it off my shoulder." You know, he's not like uh, going into cardiac arrest like maybe I would. He's just like, "Oh, that's a weird thing that happened." So yeah, look for that. You'll get a kick out of that video. I'm gonna post in the description, as they say. But little Stampy was over for the weekend too, so that didn't improve my mood. Because there's Big Stampy and Little Stampy. Little Stampy's a little fat kid that runs around up there. So that shit don't improve my mood either. I got some money off of the person that owed me, which did improve my mood, which will come in handy. But I got to wait till tomorrow, and if an aid worker comes to deposit that in the bank, and I can use that money to ship my cards, and then put the rest of it in the bank. So that's good news. Yeah, it's just a rough morning. You have your rough mornings, and the lighting is weird in here as always. And this is background has stayed the same. I haven't bothered to put the cardboard back in the window. And it's getting cold around here already, which is crazy. The cat does not want to go outside at all. I ordered 40 pounds of litter with my football card profits this morning. Only cost $20 for 40 pounds of cat litter. That's a damn good deal. And some cat food for him so I can have his big litter box so he's, not stinking up the house and hitting the sides of the litter box or missing the litter box entirely because it's too small. And like I said, I Frankensteined a big, huge, giant litter box together. And, I'll let him stay in the house. He's old. Us old guys got to stick together. And I hated throwing him out last night, but he's just a litter box destroyer. And I'm running out of litter. And I got to get that other litter box set up. But in 2 days, Walmart has that 2 day shipping. I ordered him some litter and some cat food. And I'm not mean to him or anything like that. A lot of times, like, he's a pain in my ass and he does stupid things. Like, I don't know, sitting on the microwave. He's not a clean animal either. And he's like, why are you sitting on the microwave? It's a cat thing. They got to find a new place to sit, like, all the time. They're like, this is a good place to sit. And then 2 days later, they're like, nope, this is better. And they're always like finding new places. I like to sit right here beside your dish tray with my dirty arsehole. And I like to sit on your microwave and kick your bread off of the microwave. You know. Um, yeah, this box is really cool. I love this box. He had that giant box, and then I finally waited until he was out of it. He spent all his time like either eating or laying in this giant box. I'm like, I need to get rid of this box because I need to walk around this area, which I only did once. And so I waited until he got out of the box and I flipped it upside down so he couldn't jump back in it. And then I threw it outside. Oh, I called my aid worker agency and I told them like I wanted the Justine, the one with the broke foot that I like, and I'm ditching. Um, I'm not making a big deal about it, like maybe I should, but I'm ditching the woman that lied to me, and getting another person in here. The problem is, like, I told the person that runs the agency outright, like, I don't like a lot of people that work there, my exact words. And I happen to like her, and she said she gets downvoted, whatever that means. So, maybe other people don't like her. And, I kept saying her name over and over again to this supervisor person. Like, she is they have like the office supervisor. She like supervises the whole company, and it's her job to like talk to the clients and ask them questions. Are the workers doing their jobs? Are you getting this done? Et cetera, et cetera. And I don't really want to get the fat lazy bitch fired. Maybe she should be fired, but I don't know. I just feel like that I know enough about her life that that's like the last thing she needs, but she should be considering that stuff too. And I could be like passing around the bad penny though. She could be just end up screwing somebody else over. But yeah, her living circumstances are real bad now. She's got like a heart condition. She got a heart condition, a big giant, insane husband, and she got like other situations. Like I know all about her life because I ask people questions about their lives. This is something I do. People like to talk about themselves. I read the book Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People. I am capable of neither, but there are important things in that book. And part of it is if you really want somebody, people care about themselves. If you really want to engage somebody and they will like you for it, you won't become their friend. I don't make friends, but they will like it. They like it, and they will like you for it just because you ask them about themselves and ask them questions and appear to be interested in their lives, which I am actually interested in other people's lives. So it's not a stretch for me to do. So as opposed to the people that I talk to that are supposed to give a shit about me, but don't ask me anything about my life or like how's it going or like they listen in stony silence while I spit out pieces of my broken luck and like don't offer me any like oh that sucks or any like you know don't give me anything. Um, but yeah, that's a useful thing to do. So I know enough about her life that I don't really want to get her fired. I mean, what she did is kind of inconscient. I want to use a word that I can't pronounce. I know, but I can't pronounce. But it's against a person's standard. That I wish I could talk. Why do I even bother doing anything? Unconscionable. She did an unconscionable thing when she was just letting me suffer doing my own housework and like pretending that uh, they didn't have to do housework and let me believe that. I mean, that's bad, and she probably should be fired. But if she's fired, her life is totally blown up. But her life might be totally blown up anyway because now she got like some kind of deal with her heart, and she's just a mess, man. But really, I don't know. I could have got her fired. I just didn't. It could be a bad decision. It could be me being a softie. I mean, I don't know. I know her husband's a head case and doesn't work and laid hands on her for like the first time because she talked to me about it and showed me the marks on her arm and shit. And I was like, "How big is he?" And she was like 6'4", 200 and odd pounds. I don't remember. I'm like, oh, that's good. So you're living with a psycho the size of Matt Dillon from Gunsmoke and a guy who actually he broke her washing machine or dryer in a fit of anger and threw her microwave against the wall. And yeah, yeah, I got other things like I can't talk about, like that are concerning me about other people because I got this weird thing where I care about other people that I've been trying to cure myself of for years. It just doesn't seem. I just seems to be a chronic condition I can't get rid of. And you can't fix people. You can't help people. You just need to get that shit out of your head. You know, I don't like to see, especially people that I care about, suffer. So, it's like I'm curious what's going on here. I cannot go into detail, but they did not look well when I saw them. And I'm like, I don't know what's going on with them, but they nothing but skin and bones. I don't know if it's stress. I don't know. I just don't know. So, but I'm like, they're not a forthcoming type person. They're like the Marlboro Man type person. Like, keep it all inside. Grow yourself some good tumors with your troubles. Keep it all inside where it belongs. So, even asking them about them, they'd probably just lie to me anyway, or just be like, "Ah, it's no big deal." And it's like, well, it's clearly a big deal since you kind of like look like a walking corpse. So whatever's going on with you seems to be pretty bad because you look like way worse than the last time I saw you. Um, But there's just some people that are like they front all the time. You know, who knows about the aid worker? You know, I could be committing some kind of sin or doing something wrong by just like, yeah. What did I tell the supervisor? I told the supervisor like, well, she's like, why do you want a new aid worker? And I didn't say, well, she lied to me for like, I don't know, 3, 4 months, didn't do any housework, and then tried to lie when I confronted her on top of it and lied very poorly and said all this crap and repeated the whole story. I just said, well, she's got a heart condition. She kind of can't do much. I need somebody to do some housework, is almost word for word what I said. Instead of saying, like, yeah, she's a liar and she's cheating your company and you should probably fire her. So, um, but yeah, I made it very clear I don't want her no more. And then I made it very clear which one I want, but you don't always get what you want. I don't like some of the other people that work there. The thing of it is like you're talking about in the thousands of dollars of stuff when I'm like doing my postal routine. So I need somebody with a brain to mail these cards for me. You know, because you're talking about like 35 auctions going off at 50, 30, 25, 27. I mean, all that shit adds up. You can't have screw ups. You can't have people like not doing their job. Like, that's why I would much prefer to do it myself because if you want anything done right, and I don't like trusting people. Uh, yeah, I don't trust. I'm not real good with trust. I'm really good at giving people the benefit of the doubt, but I don't think that's the same thing as trust. I will ponder the distinction for exactly 3 seconds. Shut up, dog. I'm trying to ponder. There's some dogs barking at each other outside. When you trust somebody, that means that you have faith that they will do what they say they will do and they will do it correctly and they will do it properly. When you give somebody the benefit of the doubt, it's like they tell you something, like that fat bitch told me, and you're like, okay, I believe you. Uh, you know, and then you think about it, and you're like, well, it kind of makes sense. We got the COVID thing. They probably don't want the workers to be hanging around in people's houses too long anyway, and increasing exposure. And they have to go from house to house to house, and that's benefit of the doubt. It's not like I would trust her. Like trust is like leaving money out, or like I got a drawer that I keep money in, and people that I trust, I'll be like, they'll need money or they or whatever. I'll pay them to do something, and I'll be like, third third drawer from the left, so they know where I keep my money. That's trust. I'm not gonna tell that aid worker like I keep my money in the third drawer from the left in case you ever want to rob me. So two different things: benefit of the doubt and not trust. So I'm not like real suspicious of everybody all the time, but trust is a different type of thing. I don't know if that made any sense. I'm not doing too well. I'm grouchy and I need to do stuff that I don't want to do. And first thing I need to do is check on my appointment, check to see if I need to make that call because what you do is you call this place called Net Transportation that and you have to leave a message and then you have to sit around all day and wait for them to call you back. They have to call. They're supposed to call you back within 24 hours, but a lot of times you're just sitting there waiting for this phone call, and you don't want to miss that phone call because that's going to complicate matters, which I've done before I missed the phone call. And so you kind of just got to sit around and wait by the phone. It's kind of makes you nervous. when you got the benzo withdrawal thing happening, to sit around and wait and wait and wait, and I'll be like sitting around waiting, and you know, putting cards in envelopes and sealing them up, and then double checking the addresses and shit. So I got a fun day. I'd much rather watch some porn on my big screen TV and shake hands with the bishop, but yeah, I don't get to do that as much as I like, because a lot of times, you know, I'm not young, so a lot. It's not. I'm not a 20-year-old monkey in the zoo. So a lot of times the urge might be there, but I can't do it because I got other stuff to do. And then a lot of times I have free time, and I'm like, you know, yeah. I was talking to this is a guy thing, but I was talking to this guy, and I was explaining to him like sometimes that gets to be work, and he's like, dude, I know exactly what you mean. He's like, it's like you're doing it like it's work. It's like it's something you have to do. It's like um, sweeping the floor or something. It's it's no fun. He goes, yeah, yeah, I understand that, because um, he's not married now, but he spent like long periods of being single, and then bad girlfriend, single, bad girlfriend, single, bad girlfriend, that type of deal. You know, that's kind of his fault though, because he would not go out and pursue the women. He was like just waiting for him to roll his way, and it's like, oh, okay. He wasn't really like, yeah, this one I like, and then go after this one. He would wait until he'd take somebody that had an interest in him. He wouldn't put out the work and the effort. And anytime you want something good, you got to put out the work and you got to put out the effort. And he told me a story, since I haven't said anything particularly interesting as far as I'm concerned, but this is a funny story. But he told me this story that what was the name of that strip place? There's not too many strip places in Canton. Canton is not known for its quality strip clubs. We have this place called Gatsby's that I used to live by, and it was a stupid strip bar, but it was like the most famous strip bar in Canton at the time. It had black light, so everything looked weird. You know, black light. Everybody looked like they had like glowing, weird teeth, and it's like I thought the point of a strip bar was like you want to see what the hell's going on. You want to see women's naughty bits, as the British might say. But here, you can't see shit. The music's so loud, you can't have a conversation while you're waiting to with anybody. It's like, this place is fucking horrible. I went there like once, and yeah. Anyways, I'm just stalling trying to remember the name of the strip bar, but I can't remember the name of it. It had something like shots in the title. I played pool in there once because they had a pool table and a strip bar, which is just stupid. In other words, Canton is a stupid, evil, nasty, little crime-ridden town. They can't even get strip bars right, or strip joints. So, anyways, Hot Shots, I think was the name of the place. But he was really friendly with this waitress here, and I've seen this waitress. It was gorgeous. But so he got to know. He went there so often. He got to know everybody there, and they would have like after work parties. So Um, there was the club, and then there was like an area on top of the club, which I don't know if that was the living quarters of somebody that owned the pub, or owned the strip bar, or owned Hot Shots. I don't fucking know. I know the place no longer exists, but they had an after work party up there, right? Two of the girls are actually uh, involved in a 69 lesbian act right there in front of everybody, like a live porno show. Everybody's all stoned and high and shit. And including the subject of the story, this guy that I know. This waitress is seemed extremely normal, just that's the job that she got, was up there with him and was hitting on the dude really hard. But the dude's, he had badge and women licking badge right in front of his face. So I don't care. First of all, that's not a scene I want to be anywhere near. Believe it or not, I don't. I've been in a bar where there was a woman on one side of me and a woman on the other side of me, and all of a sudden they lifted up their shirts and just held them up, and everybody was woohooing in my direction. And I'm like, did I comb my hair especially well today or what? And I look around, there's tits to the left of me, there's tits to the right of me. And I'm like, oh, okay, I get it now. But I'm like, you know, so what does that have to do with me? It don't have nothing to do with me. I mean, what would two women like licking out each other's pussies have to do with me? So, but anyways, this woman that he actually wanted, that wanted him, pick that time to say, "Man, let's go out and get out of here and go, go get a drink somewhere, or just go somewhere else." And he was just like ignored her, and that was his one shot with her. I'm like I wanted like a big, gigantic hand with a foam finger on it to just smack him in the head, like you idiot, you stupid idiot, man. But he's like, well, I was stoned, and there was two women performing an act in front of me. And it's like, that was it, though. And that would have made a hell of a statement to her. Like, yeah, I would rather be with you than watch two beautiful women engaged in a sex act feet from me. And talking to you is much better than that. But he was too stoned and stupid. See, there's lots of reasons why drugs are bad. Um, but yeah, I was like, she was nice. I talked to her. She was nice. She was beautiful. She didn't take off her clothes and grind on a pole for a living. And she just served drinks while other people did that in this place. And can't quite remember her name, but that was his like one shot. She left. She was like rejected. It was like rejected, so she left. You know, she probably saw that kind of thing like way too often. And that's just the scene. I would not want to be a part of that. That's just creepville to me. I mean, I watch that on TV all day long, but to be there in person while that's happening, well, it's just a whole creepy thing. Like I said, when that the name of the place that I was in is a famous Florida bar called Boot Hill. I used to have like the shooter glass for a souvenir that I drank that night that I was in there. But like I said, there was just a bunch of like biker people, and it was like they were woohooing in my direction, and I looked and there was fake titties. They were fake. They were implants on both sides of me. I'm like, okay, now I get it. I thought, well, why are they woohooing at me, man? I must be especially clean and good looking today. Wait a minute, these are guys. Am I in a fag bar? I was very confused. And yes, I said fag bar. That's what we used to call it back in the day. Uh, I have nothing against homosexuals. That's just homosexuals have all. It's like they also have like a thing. I've been around enough gay people to know this, where they can call each other fags. It's no big deal. But if somebody else calls them that, it's like the N word thing. I have to say the N word. It's like you hear people of a darker hue call each other that all day, and it's cool. But yeah, I've never said that. I've said that word in darker hued people's presence, but I've never called anyone that. Hard R, soft R, AHUH on the end, whatever. I never say what's up, there. Or I never even like did the nya thing where you just skip the G's in the middle, because yeah, you can't do that. It's a double standard type of thing. Anyway, so basically, um, yeah, that's just what they called those places back then. Gay bars or fag bars or whatever. It's like, I'm old, you know. You got to give me the old man pass on supposedly politically incorrect language. Which, while I'm prattling on here, since I already told a seedy, somewhat interesting story, I'll tell a boring story to cap it off. Just, you know, like a cool down work in the workout. So I'm watching. You remember the movie Blazing Saddles? Okay, you may or may not remember that movie. The movie uses the N word in it and has a lot of so called racial humor. And there's this millennial that's watching it for the first time, and she's like afraid. And then like she's shocked at the language and like the censoring out of all the words. And there's a part in there where Slim Pickens rides up on a horse and says, I don't pay you all to do what you're doing. I don't pay you all to dance around like a bunch of Kansas City faggots. You know, and they, of course, got to censor everything out. Like, nobody's got any sense of humor anymore about anything. You can get fired over that kind of stuff. You can get fired for repeating something that somebody else said. You didn't even say it originally. You know, it's like the world has. It's something even George Orwell couldn't have predicted. He predicted possible totalitarianism and mind control, but it was from the outside. We're doing like a self mind control type of thing. We're like, well, we're not allowed to say that. We're not allowed to do this. We're not allowed to do that. We're curtailing our own freedoms of speech to the point where like people are getting fired over it. Uh, you know, not even like using certain language or certain words that are touchy, but they're even like being really careful about this whole protester thing, which is yeah, protesting, rioting, whatever you want to call it. And it's like I'm watching these sporting events. I've never had to do this before, but I'm watching the first football game of the season, the Chiefs game, and I'm actually muting the thing because it's making me sick how much they're kissing ass politically and being politically correct about what is going on. It's like the videos that I'm seeing. It's like when I when I back in the '70s and stuff, when people had protests and stuff, they did not carry uh, automatic weapons. They carried signs. That was a protest. These people were carrying guns, shooting kids. Uh, People were getting shot, getting kicked in the head. So I was talking to some guy and that was ticking me off, and I just posted a video. 8-year old shot in a car by protesters. We just fired randomly into a car that approached their barricade. And another video of the guy getting kicked in the head, which I hadn't seen before, but it's like the full video where, oh, it's horrible. It's like, why are you dancing around and pretending like this stuff isn't happening? That this, this isn't has nothing to do. What's going on has nothing to do with police reform or anything. It doesn't have anything to do with that, and you can tell because you just have to look at the cases. Any case that involves white cop, black suspect, it doesn't matter what it is. It is a flashpoint for a riot now. Like this latest guy, a woman calls the police on him for sexual assault for, I believe, if I may be crude, since I already have been, fingering her pussy and smelling it and saying this smells like another dude has been up there and they had already been broken up. And it's like, basically, what the hell are you even doing in my house? So she calls the police. The police show up. They crawl down on the guy. The guy has warrants. He just sexually assaulted a woman and was trespassing in her house. And he ignores the cops' commands and goes and gets in his car and gets shot in the back 6 times. And now they're talking about him like he's some kind of hero or saint because he got shot by the cops. It's like look at what the guy did. Look at why he got shot by the cop. No, It's got nothing to do with police violence. This stuff we're seeing, nothing to do with that. You look at the riots in Kenosha, and the majority of people that were arrested by police during the riots don't even live in Kenosha. This is some kind of political, weird, um, insurrectionist uh, move for anarchy. I don't. I think it's some sort of political tool. It has. I don't know. I don't want to go into it and analyze it any further. But to say it has nothing to do with police brutality. More people have been, and that's the thing that gets me. It's like there's all this violence surrounding anti-violent protests. There's more violence caused by these anti-violent protests than the actual violence that they're protesting. There's been more white people killed by cops than black people killed by cops. There's been more black people killed in these riots than black people killed by cops. There's been very few cases even that you can point at or find. I challenge you to find me one where the cop was just looking to kill somebody. They bring up Tamir Rice. Okay, this they get a call. There's a, a kid pointing guns at people. The gun does not have the orange thing on the tip. He points it at the cop. He gets shot. And people bring that up as a horrible injustice. It's like, no, that's a kid that was not taught you don't menace people with guns, because he was like just having fun pointing this gun that was a toy gun looking at people. He ended up getting killed over it because the cop stopped him, and he didn't drop the gun. They told him to drop the gun. He didn't drop the gun. You know, it's a stupid kid. Plain talk. And then you have these other cases, like this guy's got guns, gets called, the police called on him for sexual assault. He's got warrants. He's a known felon, and the cops draw down on him, telling him not to move. And he's reaching inside his car. He's walking all the way around his car and reaching inside his car, and he gets shot. And you got the George Floyd case. George Floyd case looks really, really bad until you see the whole thing and read up on all the details and the autopsy and the fact that he's high on fentanyl and methamphetamine. The only thing the cops did wrong, to be honest, was they didn't flip him on his side, which is police procedure. He had compromised health because he had arterial, I can't say the words. He had vascular issues. He partially occluded arteries and whatnot, and he was high on drugs. So, and he was in, they call it like, they have a name for it, but he was in like hyperexcited state that did not help his situation. But what the cops did wrong is they didn't flip him on his side. But not a model human being either. You know, they said it doesn't matter what these people do, apparently. You know, it doesn't matter how they act. All that matters is the color of their skin. So what we have an anti-racism movement that's based on racism. We have an anti-violence movement that is using violence. The world's gone insane. I mean, as far as I can tell, it's like anybody. I am not a genius. This stuff is not hard to figure out. You just You just have to wade through the bullshit and the political correctness to see it for what it is. And you have to do a little bit of research. And yeah, I don't even bother getting upset. It's kind of funny to me. It's frankly, I mean, as sick as that sounds, it's kind of funny to me. It's so stupid, it's funny. It's like a Mel Brooks movie since I brought up Blazing Saddles. Blazing Saddles is stupid as fuck, and it's funny. What's going on in the United States is stupid as fuck, but it's funny because it doesn't make any sense. You know, it's sad that people are getting killed over this stupidity, but the stupidity itself is funny. I knew that we were in trouble when, like I believe I might have said this before on here, is when kids are sacrosanct. Anything that happens to a kid, people get super upset about it. Because kids are sacred. But we have an 8-year-old child shot to death because protesters who used to carry signs but now carry automatic weapons just fire into a car randomly. And I can look up the clip for you of the woman weeping over her child, but there's like video of like the parents asking like, why did this happen? Why were we even shot at? And once that happened, where a kid got killed, and people are still siding with the protesters, I'm like, it's over. It's over, man. If kids aren't sacred anymore, if it doesn't matter that a kid gets killed in it, if people are still going to roll with the uh, let's. It's another thing. Like, let's end racism. They had it on the football games. Like, end racism. It's like the best way to end racism is to talk about race all the time and make a big deal about race all the time. That's the way to end racism. So all you got is a bunch of uh, paradoxes, contradictions, and oxymoronic nonsense. I mean, I'm doing the best I can here on the fly. End racism by talking about it and making it a big deal constantly. End violence by having violent protests. Yeah. And one other thing which my benzo-addled brain can't come up with. I'm to the point now where it's actually, except for the part with the murdered people, it's funny to me. You know, it's like, it's, I've defended our country. I've defended the United States for years on the internet. Like, everybody thinks that we're stupid internationally. We have a reputation internationally, because I'm talking to people from Europe and stuff, of being boorish, stupid, uninformed, unenlightened cretins. You know, I'm like, man, you know what you are? You're a bigot. It's like you're just throwing Americans all into one box. And it's like, yeah, okay, even now with all this nonsense going on, um, and the unbelievable political correctness pressure, because people get fired over this shit. So they're everybody who's got a job and they're making their money, like Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, famous sports broadcasters, they got to kiss ass too, and they got to kiss ass to a movement that's killing people. And because if you don't, you'll get fired, man. It's like it's like extortion. Is any of this making sense to you? I hope so. Because yeah, this little soapbox segment after the strip bar thing, this is all improvised. It's not like it's not the first time I. It's not the first time I've thought about it, but it's the first time I've really like spoken about it. It it's a bunch of madness. It's trust me, it's got nothing to do with police brutality or unjustified police shootings or racially motivated shootings, which you cannot prove anyway because you can't read the cop's mind. You don't know why. You know he's shooting people, but at the same time, if you look at the cases, and if I'm a guy and I'm telling a felon and I got called on a guy for sexual assault and I got my gun pointed at him and I'm telling him don't move and he's moving and he's reaching in his car, I'm gonna shoot him because yeah, I'm gonna shoot him. That's part of my job. To protect myself is part of my job. So it's like, what, race don't have nothing to do with that. That has to do with the fact that the guy is not obeying commands under gunpoint. That's a desperate or crazy person. It don't have nothing to do with it. That I don't know why we're manufacturing this. It's a political thing. It's a political thing. It's a push for anarchy. It's a push for power by certain groups. Uh, Black Lives Matter, Antifa. Um, I think it's actually was early on. The protesting and the unrest was actually sanctioned by the Democratic Party as a way to get Trump out of office, but then it got out of hand, which Joe Biden and his running mate, I don't, however you pronounce the name, Kamala, Camila, Kamala Harris. I think it's Kamala Harris. They both had funds set up to bail people out of jail who got arrested during the protests. Now, why are you getting arrested during a protest if you're just holding up a sign? So, there's nothing to do with cops. It's all politically motivated. It's also a power grab by various groups. The guy who is the founder of the New York chapter of Black Lives Matter, founder is maybe not the right word. We'll say leader. He might be also be the founder, but of the greater New York chapter of Black Lives Matter, actually said, and these are his words, that for the first time he felt like the government had no power over him when he watched uh, our first real riots occur after the George Floyd incident, when people started setting stuff on fire. He went from New York and he visited Minneapolis, and he was there at the flashpoint of riots that ended up spreading all over the country. And the thing of it is like people will make the distinction and they will say, like, these are just some people. Okay, these are some people that are glomming on to a legitimate movement for social improvement. And it's like, there's one problem with that theory, and I've done the research, is where is the condemnation? I looked, I can't find it. Where's the condemnation from Black Lives Matter? That don't riot, don't burn shit, don't loot, don't shoot children. This is bad. Don't act like this. We're not about this. The closest I came to was some Black Lives Matter leaders saying, "Hey, look, man, we didn't tell these people to do this shit. They're doing it on their own." That is the closest I've come. So, uh, silence is assent. Um, Agreement. If you're not condemning something and that's done in your name, you, silence is assent. You're cool with it. So, and plus, like I said, that Hawk Newsom guy from New York, he just admitted that he enjoyed it. He enjoyed seeing the fires burning, and he said he felt it was he admitted it was about power. He was like, for the first time in my life, I felt like the government had no power over me. His words. So anybody that thinks this bullshit is about cops is just not doing research or falling for the popular narrative or whatever is presented by the media. Because you might not have even heard about that 8-year-old getting shot. But I'll post a link there of the grieving parents for you, along with the more light-hearted video. And yeah, I mean, I'm not really upset about it. I mean, I seem like I'm passionate about it or whatever, but I mean, I just can't believe that people are this stupid in my country when I've been defending my country for not being stupid on the internet to Europeans for years. It's like, I know a lot of you all that are listening to this, you already got this shit figured out anyways. You know, it's like, you figured this out a long time ago. But this isn't about individual cases because they're not looking at it like individual cases. It's any case that they can glom onto, and then like the national anthem for football games, there's people with George Floyd shirts, and the guy that was shot in the back who finger banged the woman's name was Blake. I don't remember his first name, but there's like football players with his name on the back of their helmet. I mean, what the hell is going on here? And I know y'all can figure that out. You don't need me to explain it to you that it's not about police brutality. It's not about racism. And it's not about any of that crap. It's some kind of there's a political aspect to it, and there's an anarchist aspect to it where these people just want to, you know how they set up the chop zone or the Chaz zone in Seattle where they just threw the police out and they took the place over. You know, there's anarchists here, and also Black Lives Matter is an admitted Marxist organization, and yeah, so they're loving the unrest, they're loving the chaos and the violence, They're loving the way it makes the government look powerless. They're loving the fact that people are they're exerting power over people through this political correctness type tyranny, where you can't say what you want to say. Even if you're Al Michaels, a multimillionaire, you can't say, I'll give you an example. There's a guy named Jason Whitlock who used to work on this show that I used to watch. That's a sports show. He said some opinions that did not toe the politically correct line. Guess what? He's fired. He's doing a podcast like me right now. I'll post a link to him too. I got a lot of work to do. I'm just made more work for myself, so you might not see this until tomorrow. And yeah, I'll leave it at that. I mean, I could go on, but you get it. And you're intelligent people. You get it. And you can have arguments with people about this online. It always comes down to them calling you a racist. That's all they got. You know, it. Like I said, man, there is a certain Orwellian irony to it that you have an anti-violence movement that uses more violence than the violence that they're protesting, and yet you're going to end racism by making race a big, huge deal and talking about it constantly. Yeah, hmm not gonna happen. Anyways, I got work to do, and yeah, like once I get to talking, my mouth goes and my mind goes where it goes. So uh, yeah, it'll be interesting to watch this back when I have time, and maybe I'll actually do something about this, change the backdrop a little bit. But me, I can't change me. I can't help it. I think about things. I look things up. I research things. I learn things. That is what I do. I do not like to appear stupid talking about things that I don't research. I don't like using words that I don't know what the words mean. I mean, may not be able to pronounce the words anymore, but I know what they mean. And yeah, I think it's time for me to take my first volume of the day, whatever the hell time it is, and continue the drudgery that is my life, and get to work. First things first, though, check on the doctor. I would much rather prattle on about my oh so important opinions that will be heard by 20 people. Meanwhile, people with platforms of millions are spouting a bunch of nonsense and garbage. So, such is the world, and you always have voices like me crying out in the wilderness, speaking to the trees, and that's just the way it is. Goodbye.